Hey everyone, so finally we have Sora, which is now publicly available to most people around the world, with the exception of Europe and the UK, which, as Sam Altman says, it will take some time for it to be available there. In this video, what I want to do is go through the announcement, and I'm going to do a lot of fast forwarding here, and I will just highlight some of the key takeaways and give you my reactions and some of my thoughts on some of the things that were announced around Sora today and what's possible with Sora and what the future holds for video generation. So let's get started.
Hello, and welcome to day 3. This is a launch we've been excited for a long time. We're going to launch Sora, our video product. And we'll talk a lot about why this is so important and so exciting, but first, it's so cool, we just want to show it to you. So we'll look here at a little bit of what the Sora product looks like. This is the feed.
So I really like this idea of giving users a feature, like a discovery interface where you can go and check out what others are building. I think this is really great because it will allow users to go and check what others are building, how people are actually using this technology, how they're using Sora and what's possible with Sora. Right? There's a lot of really cool examples that I've been looking at, some that have been generated already by the community. So if you go to the recent tab, you will see what's being created and the ones that were featured here already. So there's a lot of really cool ideas. You can also check the prompts, right? What the prompts include. You can get a lot of ideas around that. And there are some really cool features that they have introduced here as well, which is something that they're going to talk about in a bit. And I'll give you my thoughts on that and how that's really integrating into all the different functionalities here of the Sora interface. And Sora, again, is a different website. You need to go and log in there. You can log in using your ChatGPT account. So if you already have a Pro, if you already have Plus plan that works here. And in fact, you need either of those two plans to be able to generate videos here within Sora.
You can see videos that users have been generating. And we'll talk much more about this later, but just couldn't wait to show you a little bit. So video is important to OpenAI for a lot of reasons, but I'll talk about 3 here. 1, we love to make tools for creatives. It's important to our culture. It's important to how we hope humans will use AI. And this is one in particular where there's a new kind of co-creative dynamic that we're seeing emerge between early testers that we think points to something interesting about AI creative tools and how people will use them. Second, we don't want the world to just be text. If the AI systems are, primarily you interact with by text, I think we're missing something important. We want our AIs to be able to understand video and generate video. And I think it really will deeply change the way that we use computers. And third, this is critical to our AGI roadmap. Video will be an important environment where we're going to learn, or the AI is going to learn a lot about how to do things that we need in the world. So I'm going to hand this over now to Aditya, who leads Sora, and Bill, who leads Sora Research. They're going to tell you a little bit about what went into this. And then after that, we will have the product team come up.
Thanks, Sam.
Before we get in there, something I really like about this 12 days of OpenAI, I like that OpenAI has decided to feature the folks or the faces behind or the people that are building the technology. I think that's pretty important, and it's really good to see like the people that are actually building these products. It's not just some high-level stuff. These people are the experts. These people are the ones that are working hard, building out the technology. So, putting a face to all of this is really a nice tactic, I think, from OpenAI. And it really speaks a lot about the OpenAI culture.
Guys, today is finally the day that Sora will be available. We're launching Sora both in the United States as well as most countries internationally later today. You can access the model at Sora.com. This is a completely new product experience from OpenAI, built for the ground up for video generation. The best part is that if you have a ChatGPT Plus or Pro account, that's all you need to get started. You don't have to pay extra for Sora. We're including it in the accounts you already have.
So I think that was a really good decision to include Sora as part of the current accounts subscriptions that you already have. And this way, you don't need to create separate accounts. My big question was whether Sora was going to be integrated into ChatGPT, but then, this is a pretty complex product. So it makes sense to actually exist outside of ChatGPT.
To do a deployment this broad, the Sora research team had to do a ton of work finding ways to make the February model we previewed way faster and cheaper. They really delivered, and today we're launching Sora Turbo. This is a new high-end accelerated version of that original Sora model, and it has all the capabilities that we talked about in our tech report on world simulation earlier this year. This includes things like generating videos from text, animating images, and a ton of video-to-video features, like remixing into new styles, extending forwards and backwards in time, etc. Some other folks are going to show you this in just a few minutes. As Sam alluded to, we started the Sora project at OpenAI to build AI systems that really deeply understand the world and its physics. We're really just getting started here. This early version of Sora will make mistakes. It's not perfect, but it's already at the point where we think it's going to be really useful for augmenting human creativity, and we can't wait to see what the world is going to make with Sora starting later today. Aditya?
Hi, I'm Aditya. I'm really excited for this release. OpenAI has had a multi-year-long history of training state-of-the-art models that have pushed the boundaries of what's possible to do with visual generation. However, we feel like for further advances in visual generation, we need breakthroughs both in machine learning and in human-computer interface design.
I like that they are very honest about this. Like, there's so much work that needs to go into building these video generation models. There's so much understanding of physics, understanding of a lot of details. When you're creating scenes, right, the motion sometimes is not really consistent with some of the video generation models. I like how upfront and honest they are about that, because I think this is very early in terms of this technology and what's possible with it.
So it's for that reason that I'm really proud of the product that we've built. And I'd like to hand things over to Rohan and Joey, who can tell you more about it.
Hey, Joey.
Hey, what's
All
up,
right.
Sam?
I'm excited to show this product
Yeah,
off. Go ahead.
let's do it. I'm Rohan. I lead our Sora product team.
And I'm Joey. I'm the product designer on Sora.
All right, Joey, get us started.
All right. I'll kick it off by talking a little bit more about Explore. Explore is the place for inspiration. It's a feed of videos shared by the community where everyone can come together and explore the capabilities of this powerful new model. And we know that these models, especially the first time you use them, it can be hard to understand just everything that you can do with them. So creating a space where people can come together, learn, share techniques, share methods, felt really exciting, but also really important to us. And so you can see just scrolling through here, you can be inspired by all of these amazing videos. And I saw one up here. If you see one that's particularly interesting to you, you can click into it and view it in a lightbox.
And this is really cool, right? Because it's not just about viewing the video and viewing the prompts. It's also, if you look at the bottom there, these are features that will be covered later. You can do remix, you can recut, you can blend, you can do loops. You can pretty much take what has been created by others and do your own version of that. I think that's pretty powerful as a feature, and they've really thought deeply about that and integrated that into the product. I mean, a lot of people, they are great maybe at using LLMs, are not so great at generating videos. Creating videos is such a creative process. And so it's really good to have tools like this that give people a sort of push or give people a sort of starting point. And I think that's really good that they did this as part of the product.
And at the bottom of this lightbox, it'll show you the exact method that was used to create this video. Whether it's simple text prompt, an image extension, video extension, or one of our other more powerful creative tools.
You can see here that this one has a storyboard. This is something that they will talk about shortly. And even that appears within the examples that appear in the discovery page.
You can take this methodology and learn how to incorporate it into your own creative workflow. So without further ado, I'll kick it back to Rohan to do our first generation.
All right, let's head to our library. You can think about this as your home base in Sora, where you can view all your generations. You can slice the view here a couple different ways: a grid view, a list view. You can create folders, you can favorite things, look at bookmarks from the feed. All minor organizational touches, but show that we really care about empowering storytelling and real use of this product. All right, down here you'll see our simple composer. Here you can create a video by simply describing it with text or uploading an image. Sam, you got an idea for us?
How about some woolly mammoths walking in the desert?
All right, woolly mammoths walking through the desert. Love it. Let's say woolly mammoths walking through a desert landscape. Let's maybe make it a wide shot. Cool. And before we fire this off, I want to touch on some of the options you'll see down here. Aspect ratio. So Sora can generate from horizontal aspect ratios to square to vertical.
I like this option as well, because some of the other tools, they only allow you to generate certain aspect ratio, but they're giving you 16:9, 1:1, and 9:16, which is good for generating like clips for shorts, Instagram, whatever that may be. I think as a video editor myself, I am very excited about that. That's a feature that I'll be experimenting, especially with the 9:16, because I am interested in creating a lot of like short clips and integrating some of the AI video generation, this video creation process. So that's going to be a very useful feature.
Can generate in resolutions from 480p up to 1080p.
If you look at the resolution here, so they have 480p, 720p, and 1080p, right? 1080p is going to be much more slower. You can see that it's 8x slower. And so the fastest is going to be 480p. And so that's something that you will kind of need to be patient on. Like you'll need to be very patient when using this tool because it's going to be quite slow. In fact, I was using it to generate a couple of videos and it was taking like forever. Like it's still generating as I'm recording this video.
Can generate from 5 seconds up to 20-second videos.
Something that I was surprised about, like it's 5 seconds to 20 seconds, but I thought that they were going to introduce something like 30 seconds to roughly a minute. But I think they might have a version of Sora that can already go there. I'm still happy that they have this available that we can generate up to 20 seconds. I think that's still very amazing and very useful actually for a lot of like use cases. As I mentioned, right? Like I want to use this to maybe make my shorts more engaging and maybe I can generate more engaging clips. And I think that's a good use for the technology where it is. But I think going forward, right, we want more time. We're like, can it generate 1 minute videos? Can it generate up to 3 to 5 minute videos? That's going to be an interesting, I think, development. Maybe this is coming in 2025. Who knows? We'll see.
And you can also generate multiple variations at once. So you might not know exactly what you want out of this description. And Sora might take in a couple different directions. Variations let you see a couple of options. We'll do a 4-video variation here. And last but not least, there's presets. Sometimes you might find an aesthetic or style that you really love, and you want to capture that in a reusable component and apply it to a ton of generations. You can do that. You can create your own. We have a couple defaults here: stop motion, balloon world. That's a crazy one. Highly recommend.
If you do video editing, you'll know how useful it is to have templates that you can use and you can manage. So this is a feature that I'm excited to try out. Pretty sure a lot of people are going to be using this as well. It's just make the process of creating and of generating videos with AI a lot easier and a lot more fun. Like being able to just set a preset, it will be really cool.
Recommend it. But let's fire off this gen, and then I'm going to hand it back to Joey to talk about Storyboard, another really awesome feature we have.
Awesome. Thank you, Rohan. So Rohan just showed how you can take a general idea and send it to Sora and have it create an entire set of beautiful videos. But today we're excited to talk about an entirely new creative tool that we're introducing, a more advanced tool that's still very early, but something we're calling Storyboard, that lets you direct a video with multiple actions across a sequence using a familiar timeline. So I'll click in right here and I'll tell you a little bit about Storyboard. At the top of the screen, you see the storyboard cards. This is where you'll describe the environment, the characters, and the actions you want to occur at a particular point in your video. Below that is the timeline. You can see the outline of my entire clip, and this is where I'll sequence the actions in my video. And then below that is the creation settings that Rohan just went over. So I'll pop back up to the storyboard and I'll set my first storyboard card in the scene. So I'll say, a beautiful white crane stands in a creek. Let's give it a yellow tail. Stands in a creek. So here I can write as little or as much as I want. And the less I write, the more Sora will fill in the details. And the more I write, the more Sora will try to adhere to my direction. So in this video, I want this crane to be standing at the beginning and then dip its head in the water and pick out a fish. So I'll come down to my timeline and I can click anywhere within the outline of my clip to add an additional card and give Sora those actions.
That is pretty cool that you can go and create these different clips in a sequence, right? You can choose wherever you are to create this clip. And so you can create continuations of it. I think he'll show that in the video. But as you mentioned, right, you can start off with something that's very general, not too specific, if you don't know what you want to include, and then you can get more specific. You can also be more specific from the beginning, which I think will help to get desirable results. But I think having a tool like this will allow you to be more creative, will allow you to think more deeply about the video creation process. And a lot of people that create videos are using tools like this. So I like that they integrated tools like this already within Sora. And it's not just a video generation tool, but it has all of these advanced features that you can use to help you with the creative process.
So I'll come up here and I'll say, the crane dips its head into the water and pulls out a fish. So looking back at my timeline, I can now see at the start of my timeline, I've set the scene, and then at 5 seconds, the crane will dip its head into the water. And you'll notice that there's space between these two cards within the outline of my clip. That space is important for Sora to connect this first set of actions with the second set of actions. I can always adjust where I want these actions to occur, but giving Sora adequate time to connect these ideas is really important if you want a continuous shot. You can also have it make cinematic cuts by moving them closer.
So that's really key what he mentioned there, right? This is what Sam Altman mentioned at the beginning of this demo, which is they want to build this technology as a creative but collaborative tool. So it's not just about automating video generation, but you being part of that creative process. And that's why they have worked really hard to introduce features like this, like the storyboard, because you will be part of it. You'll be directing the tool what you want, what are the scenes that you want to generate, what are the details that you want to see, right? So I think being explicit and being upfront about that is a pretty important decision for how we're going to use this technology. And I think OpenAI is taking a very interesting approach from the fact that they are not marketing this, from what I can tell with these features, as a tool that will automate video generation, but more as a tool to be used as a sort of co-pilot or collaborative partner to generate videos and so on.
Or move them further away and let Sora do even more filling in of the details. So I'll move this back to 5 seconds and I'll fire it off. And we can review this in a minute, but there's one more storyboard feature I want to show that's really, really cool. And that's using image to create video. So in this first storyboard card, I'll go ahead.
Again, this is another very useful feature. If you have something or a good starting point, like if you have an image or you have some inspirational image or video or a clip that you want to use as a starting point, you can use that. And that's already integrated with this Sora Turbo model.
And upload an image that I have on my desktop. This image is of a lighthouse. And you can see that Sora automatically put that first image into the first card. And then it created an entirely new card. And this is a continuation caption. Sora has looked at that image and it has added an additional and understanding the movement that we might want to make with this image. And it has filled out a caption to continue or to turn this image into a beautiful video.
How cool is this? Like you can give it an image and then it generates a description for what a possible continuation could be. Like this is where the model can get super creative into what it's going to generate. And I think this is great because you can experiment with it. As these tools get much faster to generate these artifacts, it gets a lot better because then you can try different variations of this. But the fact that the model has good image understanding, understands the context, and can generate its own ideas, I think it's really helpful because sometimes, you may lack ideas and you just want inspiration. And this is a good way to actually get inspiration from the system.
So much like with the text, I can come up here and edit anything in this card. I can adjust its position. But for now, we'll fire this off and we can see how it looks. So I'm going to kick it back to Rohan to review some of these videos that we made.
Let's do it. Let's see. Let's check out those woolly mammoths. Let's see what we got here.
Amazing.
Pretty good. Pretty good. So here we can hover over our variations of this generation, kind of get a feel for which one we might like best, and then we can continue to refine this with Sora. So I think I like maybe top right.
Me too.
Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at the top right. Now, this is cool, but now that I'm seeing the scene, I think it would be cooler if these woolly mammoths were robots. So I'm going to click Remix here and simply say, replace the woolly mammoths with robots. You'll see a couple familiar options here. You can create multiple variations. You can change the resolution. You can also tell Sora the strength of the remix you want. So if you want a big change in the scene, this is probably a significant change, we'll tell Sora, hey, give us a strong remix. If it's something subtle, like say you just wanted a little bit.
Well, I'm interested to see if those weird glitches are removed with the remix or those remain when they do the remix. So that's going to be an interesting one to
Wind
see.
in this background of the scene or more sand kicking up, you could go with a mild or subtle remix. For now, we'll kick off a strong remix. All right, should we take a look at your storyboard, Jens?
Let's see how the cranes came out.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So here, let's pop into one of these and we can see. All right, so we see about halfway through, my crane is dipping its head into the water. You can see if it grabs a fish. Oh, looks like it missed on that one. Can review another one of these too. But you see that Sora has taken my direction, and it's done a pretty good job at understanding exactly where it wants to go. And both of these cranes, they may have missed the
It got a
fish.
little fish that one.
Yeah, I got a little fish. But this is, again, something I want to point out, which half of the story with Sora is taking a video, editing it, and building on top of it. So the beginning of this video, right when the crane's head splashes in, I love this part. So I'm going to go ahead and use another editing tool here called Recut that allows me to take my video, trim it down, and extend it in a storyboard with even more direction. So clicking Recut has taken me into a new storyboard, and Sora has imported this video of the crane, and now I can see on the timeline my video here. I can scrub through it to review it, and I can also trim my video. So I think actually I'm going to take this first few seconds right until its head splashes into the water. I like that. And so much like in the other storyboard examples, any area that I leave empty here, story will seamlessly continue from whatever storyboard card I have in there. So if I want an entirely new ending, I can leave the end blank and I can go ahead and hit create. If I want an entirely new beginning, let's say I wanted this at the end of my scene, I can leave this here and maybe the camera will stay on the crane for a little bit more in the beginning. I can also move it into the middle and generate entirely new endings and beginnings for all of my videos. And much like the rest of the storyboard, I can always click to add more cards and give it more a direction. So let's generate a new ending to this video.
And before he generates this part, you can see that you are making that decision as the person that's creating the video, right? So you are the director, essentially. You are, yes, using Sora to generate clips and videos, but then you also have to direct it into where you want certain scenes and what you want to include, what you want to exclude, and so on. So you are making that decision, right? You are part of that creative process. And I like that that is explicit in the feature itself.
We can see how it turns out.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Joey. While that's going, let's see if we got some robots. Oh my God, we did.
Amazing.
All right. We'll see that Sora here.
Oh, these are sort of like woolly mammoth-ish robots.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So yeah.
That one walks like amazing, actually.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, the one on the left-hand side is pretty interesting. You know, they have the shape and everything. It's a bit more consistent with its feet, right, compared to the woolly mammoth. I think it's more consistent. Maybe you get more consistency with certain objects, but with animals and things like that in general, you will see that there are some inconsistencies. It's not that perfect. But anyways, I think it's still really amazing.
With robots, and did just that. We click in, we can see the original one here. This is a strong remix, and we replaced the woolly mammoths with robots. Pretty awesome. Let's take a look at a couple other features. Actually, quickly, let's look at your image to video generations here, Joey. Pretty cool. Some nice ambiance with this lighthouse.
That top right one's pretty nice.
Yeah, you get a couple different shots here with different sort of camera motion. And as you can see, you might not know exactly what you want. You could throw an image in there and see what Sora does.
And it's amazing how the quality is one thing, but the consistency is great. Like you don't lose the actual components of the image, right? It's just trying to complete the image or trying to give you more or less an idea on what that image could look like in a scene, right? So it's really important to keep that consistency, and it's doing that really well with all the examples it looks like.
Kind of like this bottom right one rather. I think it would be cool as a loop. So one of our awesome features is, if you really like a generation, you can tell Sora, hey, I want this to endlessly repeat because it's so beautiful. And you can do just that with loop. So if you click into loop, you can tell Sora, where do you want the start of this loop to be? Where do you want the end of it to be? And Sora will fill in the gaps to create this sort of seamless repeated scene. You have a couple options here. Sora can add fewer frames if the beginning and the end are already pretty similar, or you can tell it to add lots of frames to try to connect maybe two more disparate beginning and endings. But Sora will do the heavy lifting. It's a really, really awesome feature. A lot of the artists in our alpha really love loop. Cool. Last but not least, I just want to quickly touch on another feature, blend. So you can think about blend as giving Sora two scenes, and Sora will create a net new scene that is a cohesive version of both of those. It's almost like smashing two videos together in another dimension and then bring it back to this one. I'd never seen anything like it until I used Blend with our model. So if you click into Blend, you can choose another video from your library. We could blend the robots with the woolly mammoths. That could be a cool one. And there's a couple options here. I won't go into a ton of detail right now, but long story short, you can kind of dictate to Sora how you would like it to sort of blend these two scenes together. Some really awesome advanced features for our heavy users and power users trying to make a lot of awesome creations.
Can we do that one?
Yeah, we can run this one for sure. I think, translation blend is probably a good one for the woolly mammoths and the robots. Let's run it.
All right.
Awesome. Cool. So to wrap it all up, I'm going to come back to the featured feed. And you'll remember Joey was scrolling through these videos earlier. You might have seen at the bottom, Storyboard. Now you know what that is. You can kind of uncover each of these generations in the feed and see how they're created. I love the feed because you can just find inspiration and then run your own remix of someone else's video.
In addition to the inspiration, I just find it so compelling to watch.
I agree with Sam. If you go to the Discover feed, let's say you don't have experience with generating videos with this technology, just go to the feed and you'll be mind blown by what Sora is generating. It's pretty amazing. I spent the last hour or so just going through it with my son, just going through all the examples, and there's some amazing examples there. So if you don't have experience, that's totally fine. You can check out what people are doing and then maybe do a remix or something like that. That's how I would approach it.
Yeah,
it's amazing what people are doing.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is wild.
Anyway, so I'm going to end it there. That's it. I'll leave a link to my X thread. I have a post where I put all the details about the announcements and a TLDR. This is available for Plus and Pro users. If you're a Pro or a Plus user, you'll get access to it. However, there are some limitations. I think Pro gets unlimited with some minor constraints. And I think it's 500 fast generation, something like that. Some I mentioned in the video. But I'm going to end the video there. Let me know your thoughts. I'm going to be doing a follow-up video where I go through my own creation process, how I'm using this technology to generate videos, and some examples of how I want to use this in my creative process, especially for doing short videos, which is something I've been interested in and been experimenting with for a while. So look forward to that. Stay tuned for that. And that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching. Consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel if you haven't. And I'll see you all in the next one.